What's up, guys? Welcome to Clawstruck. My name's Brandon, and this is the premiere video of Claw Science. We got a whole bunch of these videos coming your way, loaded with things like secrets of the claw, tips and tricks, repair tutorials. You've been ripped off by one of these things? We'll show you how to beat it. You want to own your own? We'll show you how to do it. Maybe you just hate the claw? We're going to make you love it. Because this is Claw Science. What is a more appropriate topic for our very first episode than the claw itself? We're going to teach you the basics today. This is going to apply to 95% of the claws you run into out there. There are some exceptions, some really cool out-of-the-box type of claw machines, but for your Walmart games, your arcade games, most of what you're going to run into will be just like this one here. So I'm going to teach you exactly how these things work. How does a claw close? This is a very important thing to understand, because when you're playing the claw and you're trying to grab something, a lot of people think there's some trickery involved, and that is true. But if you know how a claw works, you can figure out how to beat that trickery. Let me show you what I mean. The basic operation of the claw, everyone's seen it, is this. The plunger in the middle goes up, and the claw closes. Pretty simple. But how does it accomplish this? Well, of course it's mechanical, but inside of here is a coil. And what we have is an electromagnet. That's all these things are, an electromagnet. And when you're a kid in high school or grade school, you might have had the experiment where you wrapped some copper coil around a nail. I got a screwdriver here, and you put a little battery to it, and you could stick paper clips to it. It's the same thing. It's an electromagnet. So a little bit of energy goes to the coil in here, which is much bigger than the one I have in my hand, and it takes the plunger and sucks it up in there. In this case, the screw is the plunger. So if you can imagine, I'm going to put this right in front here. There's our coil. There's our plunger. When this thing gets some power put to it, plunger gets sucked up inside, and the claw closes. Yeah, okay, that's kind of boring. Who cares? Here's why it matters. This thing has very little power when the plunger, our screwdriver in this case, is not inside of the coil. When it's sticking out below it, it can barely pull on it. Once the plunger is all the way inside the coil, like this, it has a lot of power, a lot of strength, because it's completely surrounded by that electromagnet. So when you're playing the claw and you get on a prize, and let's say the prize is kind of big, in this case we're going to use my football duck, and it's like this around the duck, and the thing tries to close, there's no way it's going to grab it like that. The plunger isn't even in the coil yet. It has nothing to grab. It's going to try. It's got a little power, but not enough to grab the prize. If you get a prize like my buddy Stewie here, who's looking pretty sad, that fills the claw, and the claws can close all the way around it and clamp. Well, here the claw is at its strongest point. I have control of my claw. I can close it, open it. Here's my prize, and here is my other prize. You want to go for the big prize, right, because it's bigger? No, you want to go for what you know the claw can get. So you want to make sure that the prize can allow the claw to close before the coil turns on. Let me show you. Here's we got the big duck. I'm going to put it just like that, because that's probably how you're going to get it in the prize. I'm going to turn the claw on. The claw's on. It falls out. It can't do it. You can hear it slap shut because it's got a lot of power, but it has very little strength when the claw's wide open like this. Here I got my buddy Stewie. The claw closed around him. Turn it on. It's got him. It's not letting go until it drops him in the prize chute. So that's how a claw works. Electromagnet, plunger that goes inside of it. You want to pay attention to that. So when you drop in the claw on a prize, if you can get the claw to close all the way around your prize before it turns on, you got a pretty good shot of winning it. Okay, let's see how this works in an actual claw machine. So remember, when the claw is open like this, even if it's trying to close, it's very weak. But when that plunger goes all the way inside and she snaps shut, it's got all its strength. So let's go for the big duck first. You can see the claw can't close. It's just going to slip off. That's going to happen 9 times out of 10 unless it gets caught on something where it can actually rip a prize out of there. But if you're relying on the claw to pull it up, then you're going to need it to close all the way. Now let's go for my buddy Stewie. You're going to see it close all the way around his head. Has no problem picking him up. Now I want to show you guys another way you can see that the claw is really weak when it's open. A lot of times you're playing, and you'll hear a lot of people say it, they'll move the claw and they'll drop it somewhere and they'll say, oh, it closed really late. I'm gonna hope this works. I'm trying to set it up for you guys. So I'm going to drop it here and pay attention to what the claw does. See how this stabbed the prize? Watch what happens when it comes back up. it didn't close until after the one claw finger lifted from that prize. And some people think, well, the game's trying to rip them off when it does that. Well, it really doesn't have much to do with the game. It's just because he had a bad drop and it got stuck. When one of the fingers gets stuck on something, there is no way that claw can close. I'm going to try to demonstrate. So I'm holding these two, and it just doesn't have the strength to pull these in because this one's stuck. They all have to close together, and remember, all its strength is when it's already closed. So it falls on the prize, and it doesn't close until that one that got stuck is off the prize. It's just a bad drop, that's all it is, and it's just another demonstration of how the claw has very little strength when it's wide open like this. I don't want to recommend the wrong thing to a lot of the players out there, but a tactic you can use when you see it fall and it's about to get stuck, you can jiggle the machine a little bit. Keep in mind, some of these machines do have tilt alarms, and if you shake it, there's a 50-50 chance it'll shut off and reset. You lose all the credits you already paid for. You definitely won't get that prize. But a lot of machines out there, you can give a little wiggle, and it might be enough to get that claw to get unstuck and fall all the way down. Just one more piece of advice. I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking, well, Stewie's a lot lighter than the duck, so he's easier to pull out, and that's true to a point. But all things being equal, you want to make sure that the prize you're going for fills the claw just like this. You want it to touch the top of the claw so it doesn't fall out, and you want to make sure that all three fingers of the claw can touch. If you drop that claw and you see this picture right here, you got a really good shot of pulling that prize out, because as soon as the machine sends current to this coil, even if it's a weak current, the claw is at its strongest point and the prize is captured inside of it. So keep that in mind next time you play. This is the first episode of Claw Science. We really appreciate you guys watching. Please put some comments down below. Let us know what you think. If you have any ideas for some future episodes of Claw Science, we'd love to hear them. Remember to crush that like button and subscribe so you get notifications to all our new uploads. Check out some of our other videos. A lot of times it's just me and Jeremy going out finding some machines, trying to win some prizes, and hopefully you guys enjoy the ride. Thanks for watching this video. We'll talk to you later.